Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, mahaba, cha, bonjour, namaste, jumbo, bienvenidos. Hey, my name is Jed Lee. This is Reading with Your Kids, coming to you with love from the historical and wonderful neighborhood of Reedville, tucked into the southwest corner of beautiful Boston, Massachusetts. Our mission here at Reading with Your Kids is all about connection. Connecting kids with books, families with each other, and communities through the power of story. Every week we're joined by incredible authors and creators whose work lights up kids' lives. You can support this mission by spreading the word. Share the show with your friends. Give us a shout out at school and let folks know that they can hear us on the WREB AM/FM 24/7 radio network. And they can find us on the iHeartRadio app, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Podcast Addict, Amazon Music, CastBox, Audible, Player FM, YouTube. Wherever you find your favorite shows, you can find Reading with Your Kids. Really fun show for you today. First up, Kenny Phillips is here to celebrate Belle's RV Adventures. Later in the show, Francine Juhlin will be here to celebrate Let Your Sparkle Shine. Hey, my friends, I have a super idea you are going to love. How about this weekend, turn your backyard cookout into a storybook celebration? Fire up the grill, crack open a few of your favorite picture books, and serve up Big Fork Brand's legendary bacon sausage. Made with nitrate-free bacon and premium pork, it's juicy, smoky, and unforgettable. Top it off with Big Fork's spicy Chicago fire sauce, and you've got a meal as bold as the characters in your favorite bedtime tale. Get 20% off your order using the promo code READ at bigforkbrands.com. That's bigforkbrands.com. Promo code READ to get 20% off, because nothing brings families together like great food, great books, and a whole lot of flavor. Big Fork Brands. Read, grill, repeat. Hey, my friends, you know one of my favorite parts of the day is story time. There's just something magical about snuggling up with your kids, opening a great book, and escaping into an adventure together. And let me tell you, that moment becomes even more magical when you're curled up in the softest, coziest bedding you've ever felt. That's why I'm so excited that CozyEarth.com is supporting Reading with Your Kids. Their bamboo sheets, comforters, and pajamas are unbelievably soft, naturally breathable, and temperature regulating, which means no more sweaty nights or chilly toes. Right now, Cozy Earth is offering Reading with Your Kids listeners an unbelievable and exclusive 41% off their entire site. That's right, you heard me right, 41% off. So go ahead, create your own cozy reading nook, wrap yourself and your kids up in something comfy, grab your favorite bedtime book, and turn story time into the best part of your day. Head on over to CozyEarth.com and use the promo code READ at checkout to save 41%. That's CozyEarth.com, promo code READ. Join us right now from the beautiful state of Arizona. Our guest is here today to celebrate his new picture book. It's called Belle's RV Adventures. Please welcome to the show, Kenny Phillips. Kenny, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Jed, I want to start out by saying thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for this opportunity to share the book with you and your listeners.
Happy to have you on. As I understand it, Belle is a cute little dog.
She is, and she's a real dog. So the book is based on her true stories of us traveling in our RV. We've traveled in our RV almost 8 years now. So we've had it since 2017, but we started RVing as just testing it out in 2016. So Belle has done over 180,000 miles in RVing and traveling by RV, and just thought, what a fun idea it would be to have her share her story.
I love it. So I know that people, because I'm thinking this way, you told me that you're RVing 9 months out of the year. So I guess the question is, how in the world do you How can you afford to do that, dude?
Well, to be totally honest with you, we lived in the RV for 5 years, full time. We didn't have a house. We didn't have an apartment. We didn't even have storage, nothing like that. And the reason we were in the RV and traveling in the RV was actually for my wife's work. She is a pulmonary critical care physician, and she does what's called locum work, where we travel, or she needed to travel, all across the country to different hospitals wherever she was needed most. Some of these stints would be a week long, 2 weeks long. They could be even a few months long. But we typically moved on average every 10 days. So we had the RV for her work and for her lifestyle. And during that period, our RV is a Winnebago. We went to what it was called a Winnebago rally. And I started talking with the marketing people there, and I wound up working with Winnebago. So we were both working relatively remote. Sabrina did need to be at places, but I didn't. So I could drive her anywhere and work from anywhere just as long as I was getting her to the hospital she needed to be at.
Very, very cool. Boy, the traveling doctor, nurse, PT, that industry is, I don't think people realize how big it is. It's huge. I had an accident a few years ago. I missed the step and ended up in the hospital for 3 months. And all the nurses that I encountered in the hospital where I had the surgery, they were all travel nurses. The PT that I had after, they were all travel PTs. A fair amount of the folks in the rehab I was at were travel people. It really, and my son did marketing for a travel nurse agency for a couple of years, and it's big. I don't, to be honest, I don't get it, because the travel people are getting a lot of money.
Yeah, it's very flexible. So think of it this way, when she worked for, or typically when you work for a hospital, they kind of hold all the cards or all the power. They sign you up for a 3-year contract, usually is the minimum. Uh-huh. And, they say, we're going to pay you X amount of money. You're going to work these X amount of hours. And, they kind of control, like I said, all the cards. But when you switch to the travel version of it, now all of a sudden you're kind of self-employed. So she's self-contracted and she contracts with these hospitals. And she says, hey, I can come out there and work, but I can only work these hours. I can only work these days. I can only work for this amount of time. And this is what I expect to be paid. So it kind of reverses that power and puts the power into the traveler. Same thing with the travel nurses. They can negotiate. They negotiate their salary. With travel nursing, they typically are more on a schedule of the hospital where they do 12 weeks at a time. Sabrina can literally just work 2 days in a hospital, and then that could be the end of the contract, and that's it. Wow. So it's interesting.
It sounds like the hospitals screwed themselves.
Well, I don't really know what, as far as, when I say this power dynamic, I'm not really sure what the advantage is to the hospital other than the fact that they do have trouble getting full-time employees and people to stick with it. It's a very demanding job for the physicians and for the nurses. Almost everybody in a hospital is under a lot of stress and high demand. And it's hard to get somebody to want to do that every single day, 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, forever. So, I think it's just a demanding job. And that's why so many people are switching over to this travel version, like I said, because you kind of switch the power, and now, okay, I can work a couple weeks, but then I need a break. And I want to schedule my vacation around this, so I know I don't want to work this week coming up in February. So a lot of flexibility for, Sabrina and other travel personnel. But yeah, I think for the hospital, it makes things, I would imagine, Jed, much more difficult on their end, administration-wise.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the reason I mentioned it is because it is such a big thing. And I think as great as our healthcare system is, and I have to tell you, that experience, all the people that I dealt with were amazing, incredibly talented, very caring. And I'm thankful to each and every one of them. But we still have a lot, we need to iron out some kinks.
Oh yeah, for sure. Everything does, though, Sure. Nothing's perfect.
There you go. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So what kind of dog is Belle?
So she is mostly Chihuahua. She is mixed with something called a Vizsla, which is a much larger dog. So Belle is basically a 25, 26 pound, depending on how many treats she is getting, Chihuahua. But she's got the high energy of a Chihuahua. She's a bit vocal like a Chihuahua, but she's very sweet. She's very curious. And she sees the world through her nose for the most part. Everything she experiences, when we're traveling, she's the first one that wants to get out of the RV to see where we are, what we're going to do, and what can she smell.
Yeah. It's interesting. These mixed breed dogs are so interesting. My son has a street dog that was picked up on the streets of Puerto Rico, it's a Corgi Border Collie mix.
Oh, nice.
And it looks like a Border Collie that had its legs sawed at the knee. Because the legs are like 2 inches big, but it's a Border Collie otherwise.
Yeah, I would imagine that type of dog, that mix would also be similar to Belle in the fact that probably a little hyper.
To say the least. To say the least. And now my son is experiencing what we did when he was growing up.
Nice. That's great.
So what kind of adventures has Belle had in the RV?
Yeah, so like I said, Belle has traveled all across the United States. We've done over 180,000 miles, but she's also traveled into Mexico and Canada as well. We would love to take her even internationally, but it's tough to fly with a dog. So RV travel for her has really worked out perfect. So Grand Canyon, trips to Mexico, Williamsburg, Virginia. She's been in Oregon where we've kind of looked for like Bigfoot. We've been in Roswell and trying to look for aliens. We try to keep things very new for her and very fresh for her. We've done the Route 66 drive with her. So she gets to experience probably, more than most people do even. Like she has really seen a lot. We've been to Vancouver. We've been to Toronto. So lots of parts of Canada. She's been all the way down to the tip of Mexico in the RV where we went whale watching. Now, she didn't do the whale watching. She didn't go on the boat, but she made that drive with us all the way down there. And she gets to, see all the street dogs down in Mexico too. And it's a very different culture for her to see how those dogs live compared to how she lives.
Right. Yeah. It's, I've mentioned this. We have, here in the United States, we are blessed with an absolutely beautiful country. It is so diverse and so big. I did an epic cross-continent drive a few years back, Boston to Orlando to St. Louis to Los Angeles and then back again. And driving through the Southwest. And, boy, there are spots where you can see for like 100 miles in every direction, and there's not a thing around. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jed. I think, for me personally, of course, I love the RV industry and the travel and everything. I enjoy the diversity of it, not just in the people that we meet, but the landscapes too. High elevation, low elevation, the see the shining sea type of thing. And we meet the nicest people on the road. I know, typically people were very worried about us traveling like this and what we would expect on the road. And I got to tell you, we've met nothing but the nicest people. Even at a gas station, Jed, people will come up to you and say, "Oh, how much gas do you put in that?" Because we're in a big, almost like bus style, and how many miles per gallon do you get? People are generally just curious about the lifestyle and want to chat and just want to be conversational and be friendly. We're probably more afraid of animals that we meet while, camping out in the middle of the desert or camping out in the woods somewhere than we are people. And it's been great for us to be able to go out and experience just how friendly most of the population is.
Yeah, I agree. I traveled doing my educational magic shows. So, I was averaging 60, 70, 80,000 miles a year and put 200,000 miles on, I think, 5 different vans over the 35 years of doing it full time. And boy, there are just great. And you're on the road and you're doing that many miles, you're bound to have issues.
Oh yeah,
and we had, and you meet very nice people who are willing to help. I remember breaking down in Virginia, 1 mile from the border of West Virginia. Mm-hmm. And I was with my daughter. She was 18 at the time, and a young woman who's living with us. She was a medical student from Italy. She was also 18 and also very beautiful. And I'm breaking down. I go, okay, I got to take care of these young women. Along came a soldier that was a mountain. And I was terrified of it first, but he turned out to be the nicest guy. And he said, I'm sticking with you guys until you're safe. And, it's just, it's an amazing experience. People can be really beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something I hope to add into future books. Like I talk a little bit about meeting people in this book, and I do plan on making more books. And I hope that's something that I'll be able to introduce into the books and kind of encourage people to get out there and explore a little bit, really, and see at least our country. Like you said, it's so vast. There's so much to see. We haven't seen it all. All these years, all these miles, and we still have things on our list of places that we want to get to.
You mentioned a number of different spots. I didn't hear any Northeast cities mentioned in your travel. Have you been up here to this corner of the country?
So I'm originally from Philly. That's why I sound like this. Okay. That's where this weird accent comes from. We've been to Acadia National Park. We've been to, where else were we? We were like in that like New Hampshire area, I believe. And I believe that Acadia National Park is probably my second favorite national park, Zion being my first. But that trip to Maine and Acadia absolutely was one of my favorite trips that we ever took. It's so beautiful up there. The lighthouses, the scenery, again, nice people, great food. But yeah, we've been to Delaware and Jersey, Pennsylvania. But there is a big section. There's a big chunk because we kind of traveled from Pennsylvania to Maine without really stopping too much in between. We haven't been to Boston, and Massachusetts. We haven't been to a lot of that Northeast area. So you're right, and that's a lot of timing. I feel like wintertime, it's not really the time to be there in a rear wheel drive vehicle. So
absolutely.
It's also trying to get that balance of, okay, well, Sabrina's got to be here for work, and it's just spinning plates sometimes.
Yeah. Well, you definitely don't. Boston is not a place that I think would be very RV friendly, to be honest with you. It's but lots of the surrounding area. I agree. Acadia is a beautiful part of the world. There's another part. There's up in Aroostook County. Before you get to Aroostook County in Maine, there's Mount Katahdin.
Oh, I don't know
just north of Bangor, and it's an absolutely beautiful mountain. And many years ago, probably 40 years ago, there's the top of the mountain. There's two summits that are connected by a trail they call Knife Edge, and it's basically 6 feet wide. And someone sent me, I was talking about it, and then someone sent me a video of people going over it, and I'm looking at the video going, I did that. I did that. And I did, but I can't believe it. And I definitely couldn't do it now.
I was only asking you, would you do it again?
I'm not a chance.
It's funny how we change throughout our lives, and things that we would have probably done in a heartbeat that now we look at him and like, maybe not so much.
So what are some of the conversations you think families can have as they're sitting down reading Belle's RV Adventures?
Sure. Yeah, so as they're paging through the book, it is a picture book, like you had mentioned. It has illustrations, and I'm hoping that the conversation can be, hey, maybe we can put down. Maybe this sounds terrible. Maybe we could put down the phone for a little bit, and maybe this can encourage people to go outside and explore their own neighborhoods to begin with. You don't have to have this grand adventure. Just leaving your front door sometimes can lead into an adventure itself. And hopefully the book can encourage them. Hey, there's a lot to see out there. Let's just go outside and see what we can find. Let's see what animals we can see along the way. There's a lot of animals in the book. There's insects in the book. Maybe they can go explore just their backyard even. It doesn't, and that's something maybe that I should kind of push in future books as well, that you don't have to do this big grand adventure, but just getting outside is a wonderful experience. The weather changes, can change quickly, as mentioned in the book. It might be a nice dry day, and then all of a sudden a storm comes through. So there's a lot to experience just from being in the outdoors.
Yeah. One of the things I used to love to do when my kids were young enough to still cuddle up on my lap, especially my daughter, we'd go outside. We used to have this big, beautiful oak tree in the middle of our backyard. It was the biggest tree. When we had to take it down, we saw all the trees around it that were like tilted, major tilts to get the sun because our tree blocked everything. But we would just sit underneath the tree, and when we finished a book, we would just look up and imagine all of the creatures, thousands of creatures that were living in that tree.
It's mind-boggling sometimes. We were just on a hike yesterday, kind of similar thoughts that you just had, Jed, and we were on this hike, and it's like a nature trail, and it's getting cooler here. We're in Arizona, and it's getting cooler here, and my wife and I we're saying to each other, just imagine the ecosystem that's happening under our feet right now, because everything is going into like a hibernation mode. It must be astronomical what is happening under the earth, just right under this path, even as far as like all the insects and everything. So yeah, same thing. I think it's just a wonderful way to spark that imagination when you're outside. And just everything that is just so wondrous to me anyway, outdoors. I just love being outdoors. I'm kind of an outdoor enthusiast that way. Whether I'm just walking down the street or on a hiking path or a little bit of a trail climb. Also in the book, we talk about taking our 4x4 vehicle out and kind of exploring that way and trying to get to areas where maybe not a lot of people are at. Also, you had asked, what other conversations could people have with their kids? Hopefully one of the conversations that come up is just how brave Belle is, and how, a little, in the book that she has to be protective at sometimes. And I know for some people, there is a lot of fear in travel, and there is a lot of fear in going out in the world. And maybe for some people, there's a fear of just meeting somebody new. And I'm hoping by kids reading this book, they see, you know what? It's not as scary as I thought, animals and stuff. You should be respectful of the animals and respect their space and things like that. But you know what? There's a lot of fun that can be had when you push past your comfort zone.
Yeah. When I was a kid, our family used to do a lot of camping in a tent trailer. When I was single and in college, I do a lot of camping in tents. Things have changed a lot. I was out in the world, and it was just me and my book, or maybe a transistor radio. I know I've performed at a couple of campgrounds over the years. I see RVs pull up with a satellite dish on it, and how has the camping world changed over the years?
Yeah, so connectivity-wise, has been like the biggest advancements. When we started RVing, it would be very difficult to sometimes even get email. All of that is really, just night and day difference. We were using our phones as a hotspot, and now they have dedicated hotspots. Now you have Starlink. So we can stream from anywhere, just in the middle of anywhere, just as well as we could being plugged into like a cable or Fios system at home. That has been, I would say, the biggest advancement. The other advancement is that RVs in general are getting a little safer. They're built on more modern vehicles. So now you're getting adaptive cruise and a blind spot monitor. So they have improved that way as well. More comfort creature. You can get dishwashers in an RV now. They really are more like condos on wheels than they are a camper, I would say. It's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine a couple years ago, and I said to him, I said, man, when I was younger, I used to tent camp. I said, I haven't gone camping. And I told him, I said, I probably haven't gone camping in over 15 years. And he's an RVer too. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, you got the RV, you go camping all the time. And I'm like, I don't know if that's really camping when I got my own bathroom and shower and on-demand water heater and sink and microwave and full, stock refrigerator. I said, I don't really consider what I do to be camping anymore. I'm really just RVing. I think there is a big difference between tent camping and RVing, or even like a little pop-up camper compared to a full-size motorhome.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember my wife can't believe that I did this, but I took a bike trip by myself solo up through Nova Scotia. And I was there for about a month, and I had a tent, and I had a pack on my back, and I had a bicycle. And that was it. I think I had a little stove, one of those little propane things, tiny little thing that it could heat up soup or something. But it's a lot different than being in an RV with a TV and a microwave.
Yeah, and the thing too that people don't probably realize with an RV is just how much storage capacity it has. So we have a propane fire pit that we can bring. We don't even bring firewood, and we just turn it on. And when you're done at the night, you don't pour water; you just turn it off. You're not pouring water all over it. And the advantage of the propane fire pit is that it's usually a little bit more lenient when in an area with fire bans where they don't want you burning wood. So you can sometimes use it. Even you got to check the area that you're in. But it's you can usually use it a little bit more than other ways. But yeah, we have room for our chairs. We have 64 gallons of fresh water on board. So you go 14 days with not having to hook up at a campground or empty your tanks and refill. There's a lot of conveniences, and I would imagine people probably don't even realize just how well sometimes you're living inside one of these. Like if they were just happen to walk past you, we might sleep at a gas station sometimes, or we might sleep at a Walmart if they allow it, or a Cracker Barrel. And I bet you people don't realize just how comfortable we are inside. We're literally at like our little tiny condo inside there.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, we should give you a chance to plug Winnebago a little bit, to tell people a little bit about it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I've been working with Winnebago since 2017. It's a fantastic company. I've been very happy working with them. I should probably let everybody know I'm not like a full-time employee with Winnebago, similar to how Sabrina isn't a full-time employee with the hospital. I am contracted with Winnebago, but it has been a very rewarding contract between the two of us. They renew my contract every year. There's even talks of maybe renewing me for a little bit more than just 1 year at a time. And we do, so what I do for Winnebago is I write. So I've been writing for Winnebago, which is called Winnebago Life. So I write about 1 to 2 articles a month for them. I also do product testing, which is probably the most fun thing that anybody could do. Is I'll get a prototype vehicle, something that's not out on the market yet. I take it out for, it could be as short as a week, it could be a couple months, and we do a full report on it and let them know, well, this worked for us, this didn't work for us, this is great, but maybe move it over a little bit. Winnebago does a great job of not just listening to us, but they listen to their consumers, and they want to make sure that they're making a product that is going to make everybody happy, or as many people as possible happy. So Winnebago does a great job. If somebody doesn't like something about their unit, they'll go ahead and take that feedback and actually make those changes. I also make videos for Winnebago, so I've hosted some live events for them where it's like kind of virtual. Yeah, I always tell Winnebago, they're funny. They'll write me and say, hey, are you available? And Sabrina always makes fun of me and says I'm kind of a yes man, but yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever said no to them about anything. I just enjoy the product. I enjoy the lifestyle. So anytime that they want to give me a call or email me and say, hey, Kenny, we got a project. Are you interested in working on this? I'm like, absolutely. Yes, sign me up. Yeah, it's been a great relationship with us and Winnebago.
Excellent. And you're also the host of the Beyond the Wheels podcast.
Yeah, so that's a podcast that me and my buddy Sean do together. We've been doing that for about 6 years now, maybe longer. He'll beat me up if I don't give the right date. I think it's been a little over 6 years. And that's like a behind-the-scenes look of the RV industry. So we're having industry members come on the show, like Winnebago, but it could also be the products, a Truma, which creates a water heater. And it could be a product as small as a piece that's for your rear hitch. And what we've tried to find out is, what did it take to develop a product? What did it take to get it to the market? What are you using to get the word out about that product? All your research. So we've really kind of nerd out a little bit on like the behind the scenes of what it takes to get a product from idea to in the hands of a consumer.
Awesome. One last question. Do you have a favorite Buc-ee's?
Do I have a favorite Buc-ee's? You must have done a little bit of research because every RVer likes Buc-ee's. So I can't really think of one in particular. I can tell you I've never been to a bad Buc-ee's.
Neither have I.
I mean, they're pretty incredible inside. You got the jerky. They're making homemade cookies. It blew my mind the first time I went to one. They even had the mascot, Jed, walking around taking photos with people like you were at an amusement park.
Yep. I tell you, I was, I think it was around south of the border, South Carolina, around in that area. And, so I saw the signs. I said, well, check this out. And I went in and I have a rule against eating gas station food, but I thought, we'll give this a shot. And I had a pulled pork sandwich and I'm like, this is incredible.
See, you've been missing out.
Exactly. And I just went inside. I goes, okay, where's that barbecue sauce? I'm buying a case of it.
There you go. Yeah, they're incredible.
Is there a website people can go to find out more about Belle's RV Adventures?
Sure. Yeah. So if you just type in bellsrvadventures.com, that is her new website. It probably won't blow your socks off or anything like that. I'm still kind of working on it, but it is up and running, and you can contact Belle through there or contact me through there. And you can also follow Belle's Adventures on Belle's RV Adventures Instagram page.
Awesome. We've had a great time speaking to the author of Belle's RV Adventures. Our guest has been Kenny Phillips. Hey, Kenny, thanks so much for being on Reading with Your Kids.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Before we invite our guest into the studio, I would love to invite you to visit a very special website. It's clownswithoutborders.org. Clownswithoutborders.org. This is a group that I absolutely adore. I am part of Clowns Without Borders, and I had the honor of being part of the 2023 tour of El Salvador. I had so much fun joining with artists from all over the world to bring a smile to people who really needed it and really appreciated it too. And we would love for you to join us as a monthly Joy Maker. The Joy Makers, they're a family of people just like you who love to laugh and make other people feel good. So please take a moment and visit clownswithoutborders.org and consider joining me as a Joy Maker.
Attention, this important consumer alert is brought to you by CBC Funding. Hey, did you know it's possible to receive upfront money from your structured settlement, annuity, or pending lawsuit? It's true. If you are receiving a structured settlement spread out over time and you want a lump sum amount delivered immediately, then you need to call CBC Funding. With your cash today, you can pay off credit card debt, pay medical bills, fund your education, or improve your home. You don't need to wait. Structured settlements are commonly used to resolve personal injury lawsuits. Annuities, they're designed to spread payments out over 10 or 20 years. For many of you in need of money today, this simply does not work. If you have a structured settlement and you want cash now, call CBC's Settlement Funding. Here's the number.
800-442-0665. 800-442-0665. That's 800-442-0665.
Are you looking for a creative way to bond with your kids? Let me tell you all about Drawing with Your Kids, the ultimate destination for artistic adventures. Join us as we dive into the wonderful world of children's books with renowned illustrators guiding you step by step. From beloved characters to whimsical scenes, unleash your imagination and create cherished memories together. Whether you're a seasoned artist or just picking up a pencil, there's something for everyone at Drawing with Your Kids. Please visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com, and click on the Drawing with Your Kids link at the top of the page and let the creativity flow. Drawing with Your Kids, where every stroke brings stories to life. Join us right now from the beautiful city of Jacksonville in Florida. Our guest is here today to celebrate her new book. Is called Let Your Sparkle Shine. It is part of the Camp Confidence series. Please welcome to the show, Francine Juhlin. Francine, how are you?
Great. How are you doing this fun?
I'm wonderful. It's great to see you have so much energy. The folks can't see you, but just, talk about a sparkle shining. I mean, your sparkle is right out there. It's like 1,000 watts.
Well, I'm otherwise known as Princess Francie, who is one of the characters in the book, and she's also my inner child. So sometimes people joke and say that I get to take my inner child to work with me, but no, that's not right. My inner child runs this business.
So we talk a lot here to authors, especially self-published authors, reminding them that when they write a book that they're actually becoming the CEO of a small business. But Let Your Sparkle Shine is something. It's part of a bigger program that you're running. It's the Confidence Kids Club. Am I right about that?
The Confidence Club for Kids, yes. And that I just started a YouTube channel doing children's programming, readings from my book. And well, I was an aircraft electrician in the military, so I have a big STEM program too, where we're going to do some science experiments and a lot of vocabulary words based on the science, and it's just going to be a lot of fun for the kids.
Wonderful. Tell us about Let Your Sparkle Shine, please.
Let Your Sparkle Shine. Well, in Camp Confidence, all the kids come in and they meet Sparkle Feathers, who is just this fun, kooky creature who teaches them all about having more confidence. Mm-hmm. So in the Magic Library, Princess Francie, and the Magic Library was the first in the series. In the Magic Library, Princess Francie has a scar on her face, and she's just sad and lonely because she doesn't want to go to school. She's afraid the kids will make fun of her. So she gets whipped off to Camp Confidence and learns that it's not what's on the outside that matters, it's what's on the inside.
Yeah.
In book 2, Sparkle Feathers finds out that each of the kids at Camp Confidence has something about themselves that they don't want to share because they're afraid to stand out. They're afraid of being made fun of, or they're afraid that the other kids won't accept them for what their interest or what their differentness is about. Like, one little boy, he talks really loud and gets all excited. And that's his sparkle. And he learns to be comfortable with, that's who I am. That's my sparkle. And also in Let Your Sparkle Shine, Princess Francie gets her glasses. She's been hiding her glasses because she was afraid of being called Four Eyes. You know, she has a scar on her face, and now she has to wear glasses. But she learns that wearing glasses is her sparkle because now she can see the world.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Such an important message for kids. One of the things I love about being almost 100 years old is that I don't care about making a mistake. I try new things, and it's a wonderful, liberating feeling. But it takes time to kind of get there.
It does, but wouldn't it be great if we taught children that from the beginning? Mm-hmm. And that they didn't have to go throughout their life worried about what they look like and about fitting in. If they just knew that they could be themselves and everything would be okay.
Yeah. let me play devil's advocate, though, because you were part of a well-oiled team. You shared with me that you were an electrician in the Air Force.
Navy.
Navy,
And the Army.
okay.
Well, Navy and the Army, yes.
Okay. But you were working as part of a team. You had a role to fill, so you had to. The team wouldn't work if you just kind of said, "Well, today I don't want to do lefty loosey. I'm going to do righty loosey," and and all those, and the planes would be falling out of the sky.
Well, there's a difference between following protocols and being yourself.
Yeah.
I was still myself. I was still my silly, crazy self, and that helped raise the morale. Like when we were in Iraq, everybody looked to me when they were down. Everybody looked to me when they had a problem that needed to be solved. That's who I was while I was out fixing the aircraft.
So I guess it's one of the things we need to help our kids understand is that you can be yourself. And you can find ways that true self of yours is going to add to the team.
Exactly. It's not about not being a team player. It's about taking your whole self to the team.
Yeah. Where did the spark for Sparkle Feather and Let Your Sparkle Shine in the Magic Library come from?
Sparkle Feathers came to me during a meditation.
Ooh.
Yes, I was in the process of writing my first self-help book for adults. And the first book I wrote for adults was kind of boring. And Sparkle Feathers came and told me I needed to take that message, make it more interesting so the younger crowd would want it. But I don't have any kids. However, when I was in Iraq, I was a squad leader for 18 to 25-year-old boys. So I'm like, okay, that's a younger crowd. So I turned my first self-help book into a fairy tale. So the younger crowd would like it. But the majority of my fans were between the ages of 50 and 80. They were buying 2 and 3 books at a time to give to their kids and grandkids. And they all told me, the younger kids need it. So I just took that book and I broke it down into smaller chunks, put some pretty pictures in there, and now it's for the younger kids.
Excellent. I agree. We're living in a time where kids are inundated with messages in the various media that they're consuming, especially on social media, that they're not enough, that they need to do this to be fulfilled. They need to do that. They're not pretty enough. They don't, and meanwhile, they don't realize that all those pictures that they're looking at are staged. That it's not reality. And so, we do need to help our kids understand how very precious they are.
And then I grew up fat. I was on Weight Watchers, and I even had an aunt tell me, you'd be such a pretty girl if you just lost some weight. How many kids are living with that weight stigma, trying to lose weight? And I know that was me all the way up to my 50s, when I realized that instead of just trying to lose weight, why don't I just get healthy? Why don't I eat healthy food? Why don't I exercise more rather than restricting calories and going on all these strange diets that just destroyed my health?
Yeah. The inspiration to, or the desire to inspire people to have confidence, was that something that was always inside you, or is it something, when you retired from the military, did you say, I need to share this. I need to be an evangelist to inspire people to be confident?
It started after my metamorphosis, after I took this 230-pound aging woman who was very sick, and I turned her into this vibrant, healthy, energetic person. And I said, I've discovered a secret. And I wrote the 6-step process of personal change, the process that I used. I didn't know how to create this change that I wanted to create. So I took all of the change management processes I learned in college and in the military, and I applied them to personal change. And I wrote this 6-step process. And that's what the first book was about. It was about how to create change in your life using this process. So now all of my teachings revolve around this, and I'm gearing it just to the younger crowd now. Because like I said, wouldn't it be great if we could raise strong and confident kids today rather than fix broken adults later?
Yep.
I am in the self-help industry, but I want to put it out of business.
Can you share with us that 6-step process for personal change?
Yes. First, you have to figure out what it is that's making you uncomfortable. Because it's not always what we think it is. For me, I thought it was the weight. And to me, losing that 20 pounds, that proverbial 20 pounds, was just a Band-Aid. That, gave me that little, woohoo, I did it, but it didn't solve the real problem. So in the next step, you have to discover what the root cause is. You have to really start with the self-reflection, and I use meditation because that's a great way to calm the mind and really start that self-discovery to come down to that root cause. And when I came down to my root cause, it was my aunt saying you'd be a pretty girl if you just lost some weight, and that bubbled up all kinds of feelings that I kept stuffing back in. And if you don't feel it, you can't heal it. So I had to bring that up. So once I discovered the root cause, that's when I was able to figure out how to shift my mindset. And I shifted my mindset by, instead of trying to lose weight, now it was, let's try to get healthy. And I figured out ways to accomplish that. So then I made that change. I made that change to a healthy lifestyle. And then the next step is, after you make that change, is to adjust. Whenever you do something in your life, you're going to do an after action review on it. You make a change, then you look back and you do some more of that self-reflection, and you figure out, what is it that's working well? What can I do better? And then you start over again.
Wow. That's incredible. It's a great recipe to help folks get out of whatever it is that's making them uncomfortable.
Because one thing I've learned, and coaching hundreds of adults through this, once you get to that point where you reach your first goal, and my first goal wasn't to lose 100 pounds, my first goal was to get healthy. But then as I did that, I realized, whoa, there's still way more to do. And there was just more, and that was about the time I was getting ready to retire. And I realized that all I knew how to be was an aircraft electrician for the military. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up in my late 50s. So then I started the process over, because even though I lost that 100 pounds, I still wasn't happy. I had to figure out what came next, what my next chapter was, what will make me happy. And I'm still discovering that, but I'll take it one step at a time. I'm down around this part of the curve yet. I'm making that change, moving into the next chapter. And that's where the Confidence Club for Kids. Chapter 2 was becoming the author. Chapter 3 is becoming the YouTube sensation with my children's program.
I love it. You were sharing with me before we hit record that you do programs for schools. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I'm just now getting started. The last thing I did with the school, I just went dressed up for Halloween as Princess Francie. Well, the kids in Camp Confidence, when they go to Camp Confidence, they get their tail. Well, Princess Francie wears a tail around town, dresses up in the Camp Confidence gear, just like Sparkle Feathers, And she goes around and just talks to the kids, signs books, tells stories, and just acts silly.
Yeah.
Because when you're smiling, you learn more. When you're smiling, everything in life is easier. When you're smiling, it's contagious and it can change the world.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. One of my favorite quotes from Mother Teresa was, "Your smile is a gift." Yes. Francine, tell everybody where they can go to find out more about Let Your Sparkle Shine, find out more about the Confidence Club for Kids, and find out more about you.
My website for my kids programming is sparklefeathers.fun. That is SPARKLEFEATHERS.fun.
Awesome. We've had a great time speaking to the author of Let Your Sparkle Shine. Our guest has been Francine Juhlin. Francine, thanks so much for being on Reading with Your Kids.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you talking to me.
That's a wrap on this episode of Reading with Your Kids. If you want more content, head on over to readingwithyourkids.com. You're going to find amazing book reviews, author interviews, and so much more. Hey, if this episode made you smile and gave you something to think about, please share it with someone you love. Also, please consider leaving a 5-star review. And, of course, we would love it if you could subscribe to the show wherever you find your favorite podcast. Speaking of love, we'd love it if you could connect with us on social media, facebook.com/readingwithyourkids, at Reading With Your Kids on Instagram, at Jedly Magic on X, our YouTube channel, youtube.com/readingwithyourkids. And, of course, our website is readingwithyourkids.com. Hey, we want to give a big thanks to our sponsors. When you use our promo code READ, you score a great deal, and we may earn a small commission that helps keep the podcast magical and free for families everywhere. Also want to thank our amazing guest, Kenny Phillips. Please be sure to check out Belle's RV Adventures. Also want to thank Francine Juhlin. Please be sure to check out Let Your Sparkle Shine. My team deserve a big thank you. Chris Doherty, Fatima Khan. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. Most of all, we all want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And as always, thank you so very much for taking the time to make the world a better place. And you do that every time you read with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next episode of Reading with Your Kids.
Hey, hey, let it shine. Oh, let it glow. Feel the magic. Let it flow. I've got a light inside of me. It's been there all along. It shows up when I'm being kind. It gets brighter when I'm strong. It shines when I help someone. It glows when I care. It's in the way I treat the world and how I choose to share. I didn't have to earn it. It was given free. Life say it's something special. Just be you, be you, be you, and see. This is my life. I'm gonna let it shine. Every day, everywhere, I'll make the world more kind. This is my life. I'm gonna let it show. With love and respect wherever I go. This is my life. Watch it grow. I'm gonna let my light shine. Oh, I'm gonna let my light shine, shine, shine. I've got talents, I've got gifts, things only I can do. When I use them to help others, that's when magic's true. Some of us sing, some build, some dream, some lead, some listen well. But when we lift each other up, the whole world starts to swell. No one else can shine my way the way that I can do. The light gets brighter every time I open up and let it through. This is my life. I'm gonna let it shine. Every day, everywhere, I make the world more kind. This is my life. I'm gonna just watch how far it goes. Together we light the way, watch the beauty overflow. This is my light, I'm gonna let it shine. Every day